Today, I'm excited to share with you a topic I'm really passionate about: total ownership in a lean environment. From my experience, total ownership is much more than just taking responsibility. It's about managing, developing, and caring for an entire area or process as if it were your own. And on top of this, for us leaders, total ownership is also a powerful means to develop people in our organizations. I found it to be one of the most effective tools for growing talent and fostering leadership skills at all levels. It's not just about improving processes, it's about empowering and evolving our team members. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Reima Ollila. Great to have you. You might remember my previous videos on the 8 lean wastes. Well, I found that total ownership is one of the most effective ways to combat these wastes. But before we dive deeper, let me share some key principles I've learned over the years. First off, shared ownership is not ownership at all. I often compare it to trying to drive a car with two steering wheels. It's chaotic and inefficient. What's worse, I've seen time and again that when responsibility is shared among several people, often no one takes proper care of it. Does this sound familiar to you? I've encountered the someone else will take care of it mentality far too often. That's why I believe total ownership, where one person is responsible and makes decisions in their own area, is so crucial. Secondly, from my perspective, the goal of total ownership is to continuously raise the level of performance. It's not just about maintaining the status quo. I'm convinced it's about continuous improvement. My third point here is that having total ownership of something requires proactivity. I always tell my team that the owner shouldn't wait for someone else to notice a problem or area for development. Their job is to be the one step ahead. I'd like you to take a moment and think about your own work environment. Where do you see areas where the total ownership taken by your team members could work wonders? I bet you can spot a few right away. Now, let me explain what total ownership means in practice. The owner's tasks include setting and maintaining standards. This means the owner contributes to defining how things are done in their area. And I've seen these standards often become significantly higher than the initial situation. The absolute minimum standard that an owner must set is what the area should look like after use. In my experience, this includes clearly defining how clean it should be left and ensuring that every other user knows exactly how to tidy up the area after use. I always emphasize to my team that the owner needs to make it crystal clear where to find the cleaning supplies and how to determine what clean looks like. This might seem basic, but I found it's crucial for maintaining standards and respect for the shared space. In our factory, we've seen dramatic improvements in overall cleanliness and organization just by implementing this simple yet effective approach. The owner also takes care of visual management by clearly marking where each tool or supply belongs. Remember my video about the waste of unnecessary movement? I found this is one powerful way to combat it. Less searching, less movement, less waste of time. Additionally, to visually present the standards, the owner creates and puts up for everybody to see standard operating procedures and then trains others on them. In other words, the owners don't just tell how things are done, but also ensure that everyone knows how to follow the procedures. I know all this sounds like quite a task, doesn't it? Well, it sure is. I admit it. However, all this can be implemented in a limited area, not across the entire organization at once. Besides, a lean culture involves investing time and effort in continuous improvement anyway. I allocate 30 minutes to an hour of development time every day for each team member. I found that when time is allocated for development and it's done daily, results can be achieved without ownership feeling like an extra burden. See, I've actually put this principle of total ownership into practice in the factory I'm in charge of, and it's running great. People have taken ownership of various areas: the kitchen, dressing rooms, individual production lines, and select sections of the warehouse as well. Most areas got volunteers to take ownership within a few days, though some took a few weeks. We've been using this approach for about 3 months now, and I've really seen positive results happen. The transformation has been remarkable. Now, let me show you something. This is the sign we use in our factory. It says, I have taken total ownership of this area, and the owner puts their name below. In my experience, this isn't just a symbolic gesture, it makes ownership visible and concrete for everyone in the workplace. Speaking of everyone, I want to emphasize that one person's ownership in a given area doesn't mean other team members are bystanders. On the contrary, I've seen how critical their role is. Respecting the owner is of utmost importance. If the owner has determined that a certain tool belongs in a certain place, it's the duty of others to follow this, not just for practical reasons, but out of respect for the owner. Similarly, I insist that standard operating procedures created by the owner should be followed carefully. It's okay to disagree on details. In fact, I encourage constructive disagreement. However, I've seen that simply disregarding the SOP and doing things your own way is not the right approach. In my experience, the correct method is to provide improvement ideas to the owner, allowing them to update the process and the SOP. This way, we maintain respect for the ownership while still fostering continuous improvement. In my team, feedback and suggestions for improvement are not just welcome, they're expected. Total ownership is not a solo performance but requires the support and cooperation of the entire team. I'm curious, how are other areas of responsibility viewed in your workplace? Are they respected, or is there room for improvement? In my experience, this can vary greatly between organizations. Now that we've gone through what total ownership means in practice, let me share the benefits I've observed. Employee commitment and motivation definitely increase when they have real power to influence their work. I've seen efficiency and quality improve as waste decreases. Problems are solved faster when it's clear who's responsible for what. In our factory, innovations have increased as ownership fosters creativity and new ideas. Sounds good, doesn't it? But before you get too excited, I need to be honest. Total ownership may not be suitable for everyone. From what I've seen, it requires certain characteristics: self-initiative and proactivity, the ability to make decisions and take responsibility, a desire to develop and learn continuously, and good communication skills. If they sound familiar, I believe this concept could be excellent in your organization too. But what if these aren't your strengths, or if there are people in your team who find taking ownership challenging? Don't worry. In my experience, this doesn't mean that the concept of total ownership can't be implemented. The key I found is to recognize people's different strengths. I've seen cases where someone might be great at coming up with new solutions, while another is skilled at implementing them in practice. Taking ownership can mean different things to different people, and that's fine. If there are individuals in the team for whom taking ownership is challenging, I found it helpful to offer more support and coaching. Start with smaller areas of responsibility or create a mentoring system where more experienced owners support new ones. I always remind my team that this is a journey, not a destination. Everyone can develop at their own pace. If you're excited about this concept, let me share a few tips I've used for implementing it. Start small. Choose small, concrete areas or things like forklifts, workstations, or individual processes. Base it on volunteerism. Let people sign up as owners for areas that interest them. Provide support and coaching. Total ownership can be a big change. Make sure owners have the necessary tools and support. Encourage proactivity. Create a culture where self-initiative and development ideas are valued. And remember to celebrate successes. In our factory, we regularly highlight good examples of taking ownership and the benefits it brings. This is about a larger cultural change, not just a new process. It takes time, but in my experience, the results are absolutely worth it. The effort put into implementing total ownership pays off many times over in increased efficiency and employee satisfaction. I firmly believe that this concept is an effective tool in a lean environment where improvements are made daily. I've seen how it helps reduce waste, increasing efficiency, and motivate employees. But above all, it gives people the opportunity to shine in their own area. To my mind, this is one of the most powerful ways to develop both your team and your organization as a whole. This was just scratching the surface of the topic. I have so much more to share about total ownership, so there will be more videos on this in the future. If you like this video and found value in my experiences, remember to subscribe to the channel and like the video. And hey, please share your own experiences with granting or taking ownership in the comments. I'm really interested in hearing about them and learning from you too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.